Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Conrad, I'm okay. It's good to be talking to everybody on yet another. Gosh, we're starting our second 400, right?
Yeah, how about that? 401. Here we go.
401. Mm-hmm.
Where does the time go?
I don't know. It's been 6 years.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm getting gray hair and yours is getting darker. I don't know how that's happening. It's really amazing.
I do color the old beard. I got to color it again tonight, I think. A little gray patch here.
Do you color your dick hair yet or no?
No. Mm-mm.
No, what? Why wouldn't you just do the whole thing?
Because no one sees my dick hair.
Nobody?
Nobody but me.
You don't think?
Nope.
None of those Howl at the Moon dogs are like, Dad, you need to take care of that.
No. Mm-mm.
I bet as they try to wade through that bathroom, they're like, wish this was darker hair.
Which reminds me, you have never experienced taking a shit. Like trying to take a shit and all of a sudden you realize the bathroom door is open.
Oh, and the dogs are coming?
And no, beagles are coming.
So it's like a dog shit party.
No, it's like, get out. I like that.
Have you tried feeding those fucking mangy hounds?
First of all, don't talk bad about my dog.
They're trying to eat your shit, Tony.
No, they're just smelling everywhere. That's the way beagles do. I mean, have you ever, the little beagle, I try to take her for a walk. I can't because she stops at everything and smells and will not come. Kirby does a pretty good job, but beagles want to smell everything. They're controlled by their nose. They really are. I mean, they could be happy. It doesn't matter. They smell something, they're to it. It's amazing. Beagles.
It's amazing how we were supposed to talk about Clash of the Champions, but instead we're talking about how your dogs like smelling your shits. Welcome to What Happened When. We are excited to be here with you, and we want you to join us to watch Clash of the Champions 27. This happened way back in 1994. It's an exciting time in the wrestling landscape. Hulk Hogan is here.
Yep.
And we are on a countdown for Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan. But first, we got a live special on TBS, some Clash of the Champions action. And at the same time, we have a little bit of a problem because we've still got the old NWA title, the big gold belt that we're now calling the international title. And we've got a WCW championship. We're going to merge both of those together. So there's more stakes for this Ric Flair Hulk Hogan match because they didn't want Hulk Hogan to be the WCW international champion. Right. That's got to be the backstory here, right? Let's get it all combined into one belt and then put that on Hogan.
Yeah, I would think Eric Bischoff would know more about that than I would, but I would think that would be the correct assumption.
Well, that's what I'm making. Nobody's ever told me that, but just looking at the timeline, that makes sense. So there's a lot that doesn't make sense in this era. But rather than just talk about it, let's watch it. Join us. Season 7, episode 2 is what you want to look for in Clash of the Champions. This is season 7, episode 2, if you're watching over on Peacock. And this is going to be a fun show, man, from June of 1994. Does that feel like 30 years ago to you?
No.
Hulk Hogan was coming in and the Vince McMahon trial was starting and O.J. Simpson was stabbing people. It was a crazy June of 94.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. The whole, that whole era of the WCW, because of so many changes that went on. Just weird, just a weird time. Some of it seems like it was yesterday. Some of it does seem like 30 years ago, realistically. So,
but without further ado, I'm locked and loaded on my side.
Are we doing it without further ado right now?
Do you not want to do that?
No, go ahead. Further ado.
Let's watch season 7, episode 2, Clash of the Champions 27 from June of 1994. So we're rocking episode 401 here with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
I'm at 000, ready to roll. Are you ready, Tony?
Yeah, we got our countdown, special countdown from our longtime buddy, who, by the way, was at Top Guy Weekend.
Hell
James
yeah, he
Okora.
was.
Yeah, James Okora was there. James has a tendency to be a little verbose.
No.
In other words, talk a lot. But he did send us a countdown, right?
All right, then.
And he's our guy. So let's hear from James Okora.
You know what's all about that? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you expecting something climactic? Well, sorry to interrupt that, but my name is James Okora, and if I've been known for one thing, it's about being anticlimactic and disappointing things that were expected. That being said, her Tony and Conrad were hurting of a little countdown help. So who better to count down than me? I mean, my goodness. All the accolades, all the distinguished awards, and especially the distinguished gentleman that I am. I would love to, embrace you all in a glorious countdown. But on the real, Tony, Conrad, love you guys. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for, changing my life. And hey, I guess I filibustered enough. I mean, it is your show. Sorry. But let's get to this countdown. In a 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go, man. June of 1994. And I can tell that Kirby is fired up about this one. Are you all right? That? I don't know. Yeah. We're off the rails, boys. Here we go.
Yeah. Yes. How about that? It's time for the Clash of the Champions. We are going to put together the world title and the international championship. Sting and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Why? That's because Hulk Hogan is here. He's going to change the landscape of everything. He's going to wear the big gold belt. He's going to have parades with Jimmy, Mouth of the South Heart. And by the way, Larry Zbyszko is going to be crying, we understand here, before the night is over. That's right. The Clash of the Champions is coming your way. And get ready to see how many guys made themselves big stars elsewhere from this shitty promotion. Let's go to the ring.
Tony, that was tremendous. I mean, your timing was impeccable. Here we are in Charleston, South Carolina on a fine June day.
Yep.
Clash of the Champions. I mean, I know that we're sort of talking tongue in cheek with the benefit of hindsight, but you had to be feeling like, hey, man, I worked for Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan was their biggest star and it wasn't even close. He's coming here.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe have a shot at this thing, right?
You notice the colors of the Clash of the Champion banners?
That looks a little red and yellow, didn't it?
Yes, it sure did. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, were you at the time? I mean, take a look at who you're working with here, too. 2 other WWF stalwarts, and Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mean Gene Okerlund. Did it feel like here in 94, like, hey, we might be onto something?
Yeah, it really did. It felt like, wow, we are finally going to do something great. We are finally going to get mainstream. And of course we did. And of course I felt that even before Hogan arrived, when Heenan arrived and Okerlund arrived, I felt that way. Because listen, they were big stars with the WWE or the WWF back then. And being able to work with Gene Okerlund, being able to work with Bobby the Brain Heenan was a big freaking deal for me.
It is a big deal.
I think, is Jesse gone by then?
Yes, Jesse wasn't going to be there when Hogan was there.
Yeah. Oh, wait, he did the Bash to the Beach with us, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying he wasn't going to be long for this. I mean, he had a limited contract. It was a big money contract. And according to Eric Bischoff, I mean, there's a famous story. He found Jesse sleeping and didn't like the attitude. And in reality, I think everybody knew he didn't like Hogan. Hogan didn't like him. You're going to be paying Hulk Hogan a shit ton of money. You got Mean Gene. You got Bobby Heenan. Mm-hmm. If we have to lose somebody to get Hulk Hogan, it is what it is.
And who else is going to follow in after Hulk Hogan? The Macho Man Randy Savage, right? I mean, just think of the guy. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is going to arrive.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Earthquake.
Hey, I'd like to say hello to everybody who's joined us here live. I know we kind of bounced around a little bit about what time we were going to tape and everything, but record. But there you go.
Shout out to Hoop and Bad Money Slim and Dave McClay and Nathan and Jim and Buffalo and Coach Keith and I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. This is not our usual recording time, of course, but it wasn't a typical weekend. Man, we had a big turnout for AEW All Out in Chicago. And we see two nasty boys coming to the ring. We had two nasty boys in the main event. Swerve Strickland, my goodness, delivering a cop killer to Hangman Adam Page on a cinder block. Just when I thought we'd seen it all in pro wrestling, Tony, my goodness, a cinder block.
Yeah, and not only before that, a bag over the head of Bryan Danielson. And
oh yeah,
it's like I said backstage when it was all over with. I said, well, I got to see within the last year, I got to see a home invasion. Someone burned someone's houses down. Why not see a couple of attempted murders? First attempted murders I've ever seen.
Yeah, the syringe in the mouth. I don't remember seeing that. And then the exploding chair, the bag over the head, the thumbtacks in the ladies' match with a split.
Yeah.
But a cinder block. What's funny is I watched, of course, there were some wrestling legends, if you will. I was watching that show with. I won't say any names. And when Swerve brought the brick in and dropped it, one of the legends said, "Oh, I was hoping that was going to crush into 100 different pieces and we would have seen it on camera." And I said, "Hey, man, he did that to prove it wasn't gimmicked. He did that for you." Right. And then every bump they would take, this guy's like, "Why isn't it breaking?" I'm like, "It's real, bud. That's not a working cinder block like we've seen smashed over JR's head by Eric Bischoff. That's a shoot cinder block, bud." Yep.
How was the response for the show overall, just general?
It was crazy, man. I mean, the Osprey Pac thing, I heard people saying, "Hey, man, I never seen a match like that before."
Yeah, it was. You know what? We knew it would be like that.
Yes,
it was. It did not disappoint. In other words,
I really enjoyed the pile driver spot by Daniel Garcia. They made a pile driver matter, and it got a big pop. Just a regular old school pile driver, nothing fancy, just the same type that we've seen forever and ever. That made me smile. Like, hey, we don't have to do all the crazy stuff. Every now and again, we can. The old school still works every now and again.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of crazy stuff, we got a barn burner to start this show. I mean, I know we're going to be talking about Ric Flair and Sting at Clash of the Champions, but how about our pal Kevin Sullivan teaming with our other pal Mick Foley to take on the Nasty Boys? This is about as good as it gets in a crazy tag team spectacle in 1994. I mean, I know the Public Enemy was doing their thing, but as far as mainstream American television, Public Enemy at this point is still in ECW, I believe. But this is good stuff, man. I love Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack as a tag team.
I didn't realize, but they came in with the belts, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were the world tag team champions here. How about that? You know, Sullivan, Sullivan will be the... Okay. Brian Knobbs wanted to smack him in the face, and you see what Kevin Sullivan did.
Yes.
Kevin was probably one of the best shooters of all time. He really was. I mean, he was about as stiff as you could get, but he didn't need to be because he knew how to work. But he kind of liked to be when the situation called for it.
We should mention, this is not too many months after we saw Cactus Jack lose his ear. That's a sentence you just don't get used to saying.
I know.
He lost an ear in a match with Vader. Are you surprised even 30 years later, like, we legitimately had one wrestler lose an ear in the middle of a match against a monster wrestler.
Yeah.
And we didn't turn it into an angle. What?
What year was that? Do you
1994.
Okay. So that would have been the era of, would that have been Bischoff and Ole and Sharon Sadello running things?
It's a couple months prior to what we're watching right here. So at this point, Cactus Jack wants to leave because he realizes, hey, man, you're not doing anything with me losing an ear.
Yeah.
You have no plans for me.
Yeah. That's probably before Eric really took over the company, I think. Because once again, it was Ole, Sharon Sadello, and Eric Bischoff. They were under, running the company, and then eventually Eric kind of took the business over. Right? That's kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
So this is probably before all of it.
By the way,
Hey,
if you take a look at the Wrestling Observer reader poll, this got the second most votes for best match of the night behind Ric Flair and Sting. So this is a pretty good match we're watching right now.
Yeah, the Nasty Boys were. I always thought they gave you a pretty good match.
Yes.
They were what they were, but they were good brawlers. They knew what to do as far as brawling was concerned. Bobby Heenan was scared to death of Brian Knobbs, and because he thought he was like a loose cannon. And here we are down at ringside. So I know Heenan's very nervous. We're pushed right up against the ropes, because Knobbs would be one of those guys that, once he fell down to the floor, hell, you never know what he would do. It was kind of like Vader. You never know what he would do down the floor. Yeah, they were pretty. I thought Knobbs and Sags made a very, very good tag team, and they had a great run. They really did.
I loved them. They're one of my guilty pleasures as a tag team. I mean, I went as the Nasty Boys, me and my best pal back in the day. We were the Nasty Boys for Halloween.
How about that?
By the way, this show has 4,044 paying customers. There's a gate of $42,000. That's actually good numbers for WCW in this era. There's a total of 6,700 people in the crowd, but it was set up to where they could have had 11,000. We aren't there yet. But the match we're watching was not all that critically acclaimed. It only got a star and 3/4. Meltzer said overall he was in the minority. He did not think this was a good show, but the readers gave it 53% thumbs up, and they are, of course, the customer.
How about that?
It's an interesting time, though, because this is around the same time ECW is starting to get a little bit of buzz, and they promoted Sabu versus Cactus Jack on June 24th at the ECW arena, and just assumed, based on those two names alone, it would be a guaranteed sellout. It was not.
Right.
But it was a well-received match for sure. And this is also the circumstance, the era. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but Sabu broke a bottle over Cactus Jack's head. Like, not a gimmicked beer bottle. He just kept hitting him over and over and over until it broke.
Why not? That's the way Cactus would want it.
It's crazy. By the way, he did that just days after this. So he's going to do this show in South Philadelphia on a Thursday, but on a Saturday night, he's in Philadelphia getting cracked over the head with a beer bottle.
So this is like his last show with us?
No, he was allowed to work some shows here and there, but he is here to drop the belts.
Okay. All right. Got it.
What they're going to retain that. They're going to retain the titles here, but
okay.
But this is a deal where, he was already putting in notice, and they made him the tag team champion, so he knew, like, well, I'm going to lose it eventually because my contract's going to be up, and I'm leaving.
Yeah, well, that was the best decision he ever made, because
he bet on himself, man.
Yeah, because he became such a star.
Did you see recently when he did an interview or had some sort of comment that said, hey, if I really was going to do one last match, I wanted my last match opponent to be MJF. What did you think of that?
Really?
Yeah.
Just because he wants to beat the shit out of him?
Well, that'd be a great reason. I think he just thought the promos would be fun.
He's probably right.
He's going to stay. He's going to hang around WCW here in this era until mid-September, and then at Fall Brawl, he'll lose a loser leaves WCW match to Kevin Sullivan.
I don't remember any of that stuff, man.
94 is just a blur to you, huh?
With the exception of Bash of the Beach, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And actually, Spring Stampede was
Steamboat and Flair. You remember that one?
Steamboat and Flair, yeah, that was good.
I knew you'd remember that one.
Right, but other than that, I didn't. Fans really popped on that bump.
That Cactus clothesline gets them every time. Like whenever you see Cactus spill over the top rope like that,
yeah.
Anytime you see a big guy, 300 pounds going over the top rope, it's going to get some attention. Look at Cactus right here.
He missed. He missed. They moved out of the way to hit the back of his head. So my question is, did they move on purpose, or did they, was that a called spot, or did they fuck it up? I don't know.
Oh no, that's what he was looking for. That was the design. This is before people were doing flippity doodah.
Flippity doodahs.
Well, you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
I know exactly what. There's millions of flippity doodahs done now. So many flippity doodahs that to the point to where flippity doodahs don't mean what they used to mean, right?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know the names of all of them. I mean, we'll give.
I don't either. I might as well call it a flippity doodah.
No, we'll call it something else so it sounds authentic. We'll come up with like Excalibur. So, like what we just saw Cactus Jack do, where he bounced on the second rope and then just sort of fell into the guardrail. We'll call that the Tijuana hematoma.
The Tijuana hematoma.
Yep.
Okay.
Hit him with that old Tijuana hematoma.
You know what I should do? I should make up some names of moves on my own.
Yes, why don't you?
And just hit them and just watch Excalibur turn and look at me because that makes me laugh every time he does.
Here's what I'm saying though. Do you realize a lot of these moves that Excalibur knows the names of?
Yeah.
Those moves were named by people with less credentials in wrestling than Tony by God Schiavone. So if all of a sudden Tony by God Schiavone says this is the name of that move, who the fuck is Evan Bourne to come around here and correct Tony Schiavone? Hit the bricks, Matt Seidel. You and M-Dog 20. If Tony Schiavone wants to call it a Tijuana hematoma, that's what it's going to be called.
Tijuana hematoma. Okay, you got it, brother.
Boom.
Text me here at Tijuana.
Dude, if you say that, I'm going to wear that shirt around Gunnersville for 2 weeks every day. I'm going to make it a shirt. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Tijuana and all I got was this hematoma. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh my God.
We're having a lot of fun. Hope you guys are too. We're about 15 and a half minutes into a playback of Clash of the Champions 27. You can join us on Peacock. It's season 7, episode 2.
We are at, by the way, 15, 39, 40, 41, 42. At least that's where I am.
Yep.
And we saw a 3 count just now.
There it is. Cactus Jack retains. How about Nick Patrick with the buzz cut? He looks great with the summer cut, doesn't he?
He does. As a matter of fact, from behind, you really can't recognize it's Nick.
I dig it. And you know what else I dig?
What do you dig?
You know what I dig?
With a shovel.
Magic Spoon. You know, as a kid, I loved eating cereal, but as an adult, I didn't want all that sugar. And most cereals don't give me the protein I need. And then we found Magic Spoon, a nostalgia brand, if you will. It's got the cereal that tastes just like my childhood favorites, but without the sugar and with a ton of protein. Now, if you're already a Magic Spoon fan, I got big news. Magic Spoon has turned their super popular cereal into high protein treats that are light, crispy, and taste just like those classic crunchy cereal bars. You know the ones.
Hey, Conrad?
Yes, sir.
I have a box of 24 Magic Spoon peanut butter and chocolate treats that I'm eating on right now.
How about that?
I take them with me everywhere I go.
These brand new treats are delicious, man. And they have become a regular part of our routine. My wife loves them too. They're absolutely packed with protein. How about this too? I want to mention that these treats, not only are they an easy way to get 12 grams of protein, for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow, and that's what you think it is, and chocolatey peanut butter. As for the cereal, how about 13 grams of protein in every serving, but 0 grams of sugar and 4 grams of net carbs? You can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa, but there's a lot more. Buddy of ours absolutely loves maple waffle. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/WHW, or just look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. But go right now to magicspoon.com/WHW and get $5 off. That's Magic Spoon. Hold on to the dream.
Absolutely.
What a great sponsor they are for us too. It's a nostalgia brand of cereal to me because it tastes like the stuff I ate 30 years ago. And here we are watching wrestling from 30 years ago. How about that?
And for you listeners, watchers, watching us on our YouTube channel or on Patreon, Top Guy. By the way, every one of those treats are only 3 points each on Weight Watchers. And that's pretty cool. 3 points.
How about that? MagicSpoon.com/WHW. Use our promo code WHW. Get yourself $5 off. So listen, we talked about Hulk Hogan coming in, but take a look at this packaging here. The former Big Bubba, who became a household star, a household name as the Big Boss Man. Now he's back, but we can't call him the Big Boss Man, and we can't call him the Boss. So we're going to call him the Guardian Angel. And this is interesting because this is one of those, you kind of had to be there things. I'm sure to a lot of people watching this internationally, they're like, what the fuck are the Guardian Angels? But man, they were all over television. I mean, daytime television, nighttime television, almost like a, I don't know. How would you describe, not vigilante, not evangelism. I mean, what would you say?
Well, it's like it's what's on the shirt, a safety patrol, right?
Okay.
I guess they feel that they're helping the police, and just by their presence, they help turn away crime, one would think. Now, we just saw a picture. Curtis Sliwa was in charge, and the Guardian Angels were very well known even before this happened. And I don't even know, do you even know the Guardian Angels are still a part of New York City?
I know that guy right there is the dude I saw on TV all the time.
Yeah, that's Curtis Sliwa. That's the head of them.
Let me see what they're up to now. Yeah, they're still around. How about that?
Yeah. Well,
still wearing those gimmicky hats and the whole deal.
Yeah. I just wondered, I got to thinking that in this day and age, that since crime in New York City is so popular, that maybe they would be.
They're in the United Kingdom, Spain, Washington, D.C., Tucson, Richmond, Sweden. They misspelled Sweden, but they're there. Tampa, San Diego, Portland, South Korea, Mexico, Orlando. They have a Japanese branch. They have some folks in Italy and Fort Pierce and Denver, in India and Dallas and Cleveland and Brazil and Baltimore and New York City. And they've got two that I think might work for you. They've got an animal protection version. Which I think is cool. But I think the one you need to look out for is they have a perv buster division.
Right.
And it says on the description that they're looking for guys who hang around makeup chairs. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
But it doesn't sound good for you.
Yeah. Well, I still kind of hang around makeup chairs.
Well, be on the lookout. If you see a red beret coming your way, I get them Fred Flintstone feet going.
You do realize why I hang out around makeup chairs. Because I got to make sure that the right person is in makeup, ready to go for the pre-tape they got to do first.
That's what I was saying.
And also, would you look at Tex Slazenger?
Yeah, Phineas, as we know him as one of the Godwins. Here he is before the Godwin run.
Yeah. How about that? And against the Guardian Angels. And to make sure that none of our talent gives our makeup girls a hard time. Bitches at them or things like that. That's what you gotta do.
This is not going to be a long affair. 1 minute and 44 seconds. It's called a nothing squash in the Observer. It gets a dud rating.
Well, you can't do much in 1:44. You're either going to get a 1 star or a dud, I would think.
Tex Slazenger, by the way, I don't know that you and I have talked about this before, but have we talked about what their gimmick I know they're pig farmers, but have we said more about that, you and I, the Godwins?
No, we haven't. We've talked about the fact that Tex, our Phineas, is in real life a gourmet chef.
He's actually retired now, and he's doing a lot of creative writing and maybe doing a lot of drugs. I'm not sure on that part.
Okay. All right. So tell us about the Godwins in reality or whatever.
Well, no, I just wanted you to know that Vince was so knee deep in his gimmick overdose at the time that he had, this is a 3 strikes, you're out thing. So he gave Phineas or Tex Slazenger 3 chances to hit him. And then he's going to Hulk up on him. He's going to angel up on him.
Okay.
And just hit him with his finish here, which is probably a Bubba Slam. Oh, you know what this is? One of my favorite boss man moves. Because it seems believable. Like, that would suck. I don't want that. Anyway, his tag team partner, his brother, if you will, was Henry O. Godwin. So if he had things embroidered with his initials, Henry O. Godwin, the pig farmer, his initials would be?
HOG.
That's right. Now, his brother, Phineas here, he was Phineas I. Godwin. So if he was to have things embroidered, Phineas Godwin, the pig farmer, his initials would be?
P-I-J.
Man, I love when you use your real deal. That's Tony
Voice.
Schiavone's real deal accent. That's a West
That's right.
Virginia accent from Craigsville, West Virginia.
Yeah. You keep saying Craigsville, West Virginia, and you think your Alabama boys are tough. A fellas out of the mountains of Virginia gonna come kick your ass so hard Dave Silva fall out of it.
Dave Silva lives in Texas. He's never coming back to Alabama.
That's how hard the kick's gonna be.
I don't think Dave Silva's 57 years old, and I don't think Dave Silva will set foot in his natural life on Alabama soil ever again.
Wow, did they run his ass out of town? Is that what they did?
No, he just don't run nowhere, you see.
Okay.
So, hey, I want to track this, but we're about to get a big moment here on Clash of the Champions, I think. Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a police escort in Charleston, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be a limousine in tow. Is that a Fox body Mustang right there?
I don't know.
No.
Am I allowed to sing the Hulk Hogan?
Please do.
Dun, 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 dun.
Please do.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't even know the words. And if I'm here, and it's not here, dun, 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 dun. And Dave Silva falls out of your ass. Dun, 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 dun. Bring the police on backstage. We'll have the gimmick, yes we will. Hulk is a real American. Dun, 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 dun. That's all I know.
I love it. How about this white limousine here, man?
Mm-hmm.
We're making a big deal about Jimmy Hart and Hulk Hogan showing up to the building here live on TBS. By the way, if you give anybody this sort of treatment on TV, it's going to be perceived that they're a real big star.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter who steps out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. How about that Turner Broadcasting System truck? Everybody looking around. Police are starting to run on foot.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does Lois ever not yell when she's on the phone? Or is
No,
it
she talks
always
loud.
you?
She talks loud.
So like you're upstairs, she's a floor below you.
Right.
And it's carrying all the way. If you were in the basement, would you hear it the same?
I've got we have as you see my pen, if you're looking at it right now, with the Lois Rule sign, there's a stairway there.
Yep.
And I keep that door open so the dogs can run up and down and up and down. So, and right now she's talking to her granddaughter. So she's talking loud to her granddaughter. But she talks loud all the time.
No, I had a feeling that was the case. I just didn't know, like, as she's making her various calls throughout the day, you have a crazy schedule and sometimes you need to sleep. And I was wondering, how do you do that?
I don't know. There's Jesse Ventura. Looking great, man. Just looked great. And my hair was so beautiful, completely coiffed down the back.
Give everybody your time code where we are, Tony, in case they've lost us here.
Okay, 2709, 10, 11, 12, Sir William Regal, and that little sawed-off motherfucker coming out.
That little sawed-off motherfucker is here.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Regal walking to the ring like this, I don't know why, it just feels like a rib. Like this awful hairpiece feels like a rib a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, I finished Game of Thrones.
Did you?
Yeah.
Shitty ending, huh?
My God.
They dropped the ball on that one.
Those last two episodes were just, wow.
Yeah. See, what happens with writers is, I know what happens with writers. I'm not to say that I'm a great writer or anything, but writers start writing something that is wonderful and people start flocking to it and they write and they get together and their show is so great, but then they fucking outthink themselves. That happens all the time. Don't put too much thinking into what you're doing. Overthinking. Oh my God.
Got the belt on around the jacket. What do you think of that look?
The one and only living legend, Larry Zbyszko. Thank God we didn't have to worry about what shirt he was wearing.
Oh, was that always an issue?
Oh,
He was on commentary?
Oh, my God.
Tell us about it.
I've never told the story on here. I have had to tell the story on here. So we would be in the back, and of course, he was one of our commentators, right? Especially, I think he and I, we worked together on 1 hour of Nitro, and I think he ended up being on Thunder with us as well. And he would go in the back, and he would bring all these shirts with him, like, let's say 6 or 7 different shirts. And he would come up to us all in the announcer room. He said, "So what do you think of this shirt? You think this would look good tonight?" And we go, "Yeah, Larry, sure. It would look great." And he'd think a minute and he'd go back and get another shirt. He said, "What about this one? Do you think this shirt is okay?" And we go, "Yeah, Larry, that looks good. What the fuck?" And he said, "Hey, wait a minute. I got this brand new shirt on." And he would do this. We would go through all 6 shirts or 7 shirts. And then someone else would come in and they would go through all 7 shirts with him. And it would be like, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up and just wear a shirt. And then, so he was doing this one day and it was relentless. And it got to be where it was fucking funny. So the show opened up, and I think it was a Thunder, I'm not so sure. And I'm standing there with Larry Zbyszko, and out walks Hall and Nash, the outsiders, and they came up and they say, "Hey, Count Schiavone, how you doing? Good to see you." And they say, "Hey, living legend, did you get a bowl of soup with that shirt?" And I did exactly what you did right there. I couldn't hold it in. I just laughed. I just died laughing. And Eric just got all over my shit. "Don't you ever laugh like that again. Don't you ever laugh like this is a serious thing." He was talking to my ear. So they sent Kevin Nash back out to give me shit for laughing. But after the show, I told Eric, I said, "You have no idea what we go through every day or every TV show with Larry Zbyszko. And trying on these damn shirts and a bowl of soup with that shirt just killed me." I wish I could find that, but that's the way Larry was. He was something else, man. I played a lot of golf with Larry back in the day, back in the 90s.
I didn't know you played a lot of golf.
With Larry, I did. Yeah, I got my neck surgery in 95, and then I kind of stopped playing. But probably between 90 and 94, I played a lot of golf. So, but I sold my clubs. That's over. That's gone. And of course, you're looking at 2 of my favorites in the ring right now.
Man,
2 guys I would consider friends.
How do you not love Regal in this era?
Mm-hmm.
I think more wrestlers should study Regal in this era.
Mm-hmm.
And to think too, how fucking young he is, dude.
Yeah, I know. He's a baby right here, right?
Yeah,
he's in his 20s.
He's 26 years old right here. Like, think about that. This dude's younger than Sammy Guevara.
Right.
What?
Yep. He was a baby.
I loved this version of him for sure.
Oh, I did too.
Hey, speaking of things that I love, last week we got some good feedback from us doing a little song tribute for our 400th episode. And people really liked it, to the point where I wondered, could this be perhaps a replacement for Tony Reed's rap? Because I want you to just look in the camera in a loud and clear voice and tell everybody you're never doing Tony Reed's rap again.
I'm never doing Tony Reed raps again.
So there's a chance, because there was an edit there, self-edit, and I appreciate that. Hey, we got a lot of fun questions here. Let's hit a few here. Jim in Buffalo says, "Tony, I sat next to Daniel Garcia on our flight back to Buffalo early Sunday morning. He was very polite, but I opted not to ask for a photo. Did I do the right thing?"
Yeah, you did. Good call.
Jim has a follow-up question, and this is the one everybody wants to know. "Tony, if you had to get poked with a big syringe on any part of your body, what part would you choose?" I'm not sure I'd choose my mouth or cheek.
No,
and Tony, there was some rumor and innuendo on the DVR sleaze thread back in the day. They used to poke needles in your dick just for fun. Is that right?
No, that was not for fun. But the best place would be your shoulder.
Now, why would you want it in your shoulder?
Because that's where it hurts the least.
Oh, okay.
Don't ever have them poke it in your ass, because that's where it hurts the most.
I didn't know if you had like history with like smoking some pork shoulders and you were like, that's where you can really inject the meat. We didn't.
No, I'm talking about when I was younger, getting a shot. They either have it in your ass or in your shoulder. In your ass hurts. Don't do it.
Somebody clip that out right now. In your ass hurts. Don't do it. We can roll fucking credits right now for all I give a shit. We're done. David McClay says, Tony, what's your favorite Mick Foley match that you called?
David, I saw that in the list here. I don't remember.
Halloween Havoc 1993 against Vader.
It would have to be, yeah. That was the spin the wheel, make the deal match.
Yep.
Wasn't that a coal miner's glove match or something?
That was against Sting and Jake, but this was like a Falls Count Anywhere Texas death match deal.
That's the one where they bled all over me and Jesse.
And they went like down and then came up and like under the stage. It was crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
Bad Money Slim is with us, and he says, since you're watching the Nasty Boys, what's your favorite side of Brian Knobbs, the front or the back? Now, this comes out because everyone in wrestling at this point has seen him, I think as the kids would say, on soft. And they've also seen him spreading the gigantic asshole, busting it open, as he explained on a radio show to Kid Chris. That's what happens when you win the belts. Your asshole gets 3 times its size, like Grinch's heart. What do you think? Did you prefer the soft serve from Brian Knobbs? Did you like the vanilla soft serve or the chocolate soft serve?
Probably the vanilla.
Really? You like the penis pick? I never the joke that his dick's so small he could piss on his nuts. I always thought was like something that people just said in a joke fashion. I didn't know it might actually be possible. You could
it's possible. Yeah.
Trickle on the bag balls.
Yeah. Your dick's so small, it just pisses right over like a waterfall.
Oh, it just dribbles down like one of those stacked stone waterfalls. Oh, I love that. It's like a water feature.
Yeah.
And knowing you're going to have if you put a lighter down when you're doing this in the toilet, you could really have the fire feature too.
You could blow yourself up on top of the walls, which you could do right on the ceiling.
Mike Hoop wants to know, did Tony get to hang out at all this past weekend with Violent J? Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse joined us for Top Guy Weekend / Low Key Big Hog Weekend for all of our Patreon members over at patreon.com/WHW Monday. Did you get to hang out with Violent J at all?
No, I didn't. I came in on, as you know, Saturday morning. Did that with David and Gerald Briscoe, and then took pictures and then left. So I didn't get to hang out at all. But I do like to say I'd like to thank everybody that showed up. We had a good time.
We did have a good time. You got to see your old pal Efren and your old buddy Matt Coon. I know you and Matt Coon are tight, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Wrestling Historian over on Instagram says, did you like WCW having 2 world champions? Thanks in advance.
No, of course not. It waters down. It demeans the world championship.
Demeaning the television champion because Lord Steven Regal just won the damn thing.
Yes.
He beat Larry Zbyszko in a match that got a 1.25 stars.
Whoa.
In the Observer.
Wow. Rough on stars. Dave Meltzer was, yeah.
Lauren Yaffe chiming in here. She's got a big comment for you. Tony is a needle dick.
Well, Lauren, thank you very much for saying that. I don't know how you know, but...
Well, she probably called the WCW hotline here at 1-900-909-9900. As we see Mean Gene doing his
As a matter of fact, Lauren, don't call the hotline. The phone number is no longer active.
Michael Stutler says, when Hulkster signed with WCW, what were your feelings on the direction WCW would take the next couple of years?
I thought it was going to move in the right direction. I was very thrilled about it, only because... I had been in the WWF in that 1989, 1990, and I knew what it was like there. I thought it was great. I thought WCW had attempted to many times become mainstream prior to Hulk Hogan coming in. I thought we now had a chance to go mainstream. Can you believe that Lauren has not been with us for months and months and months? And she comes in here, and the first thing she wants to talk about is Tony is a needle dick.
Yes, I can. I can believe that about Lauren.
Gee whiz, just do like MJF. Just put your hands on my shoulders and kick me in the nuts.
Tony, I mean, I know that you took that as a negative, but let me just remind you that, 8 years ago, there weren't women across state lines thinking about Tony Schiavone's dick at all. And now there are.
Apparently so. Look at a young Dustin Rhodes here. My God, he is so young. And now he is so fucking old.
He's 30 years older than he is here, you see.
I see.
Efren chimed in with some valuable information that everyone needs to know. Tony is correct in reference to an ass being hurt. # fellow expert. So I guess, are you taking pictures of this?
I'm taking a picture of Dustin Young and sending it to him as soon as I get him on camera here.
How about Arn Anderson looking like he works for Death Row Records? With that, he looks like he's part of Suge Knight's crew. If you don't want that producer dancing around in the videos, then come to Death Row. Dude, I'm telling you, he's here standing on business talking about Tupac and Snoop Dogg right now. I can just feel it in my bones.
Exactly.
Hey, did you see this weekend, right up the road from you at Center Stage, his son Brock Anderson is teaming with C.W. Anderson, who you and I have seen before from some old ECW stuff. They're putting together the Anderson tag teams, and they're going to be back in Atlanta at Center Stage. That just feels right, doesn't it? That's fun.
Yeah, that feels great.
Well, I'm just happy for the Andersons. I'm sorry.
I am too. I'm happy for Brock. I'm happy for Brock and Arn and Aaron, the whole family. They are such great people.
Yes.
They really are just salt of the earth, as the old cliche goes, people. And I'm happy for them. Just a little comment there from old Needle Dick.
David McClay wants to know, because we learned right before we clicked record today here that James Earl Jones passed away.
Yes.
And David McClay wants to know, Tony, what's your favorite James Earl Jones role? And I know, because I've been around you when your phone goes off, that it's clearly Star Wars because you have that ringtone on your phone. So Star Wars is the answer, Dave.
It is not, you goofball.
What?
No. It's Terrence Mann from Field of Dreams. Moonlight Graham. You saw it. What did I see, Ray? You saw it on the... I can't believe I'm doing this, Ray. It's my favorite one. So there. See, you're not as smart as you look, are you?
Well, I mean, I hadn't heard any of those ringtones on your phone, so I just made
No, that's because I don't know if they're in it. I would have to make my own ringtone.
Well, you've made your own Needle Dick reference today. I think we can do that too.
I didn't do that. Lauren did that.
Johnny B. Bad is here saying, let's don't sit down, Charleston. Let's get down. And he is about to be challenging the United States champion. Are you ready for this, Tony? Who did this guy ever beat? Steve Austin? What? What a loaded roster. To recap so far on this show, we've had Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan, the Nasty Boys, the Big Boss Man, Phineas Godwin, Lord Steven Regal, AWA World Champion Larry Zbyszko, Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart, Dustin Rhodes, Arn Anderson, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Johnny B. Bad. And we're like halfway through the show. This is big time stuff, man.
Yeah, it's it was loaded. It was absolutely loaded. I watch Austin walking in right now and looking around, and I'm at 44:57, 59, 45 minutes, which means we got about 40 minutes of this show left. You can see the attitude of Stone Cold, can't you?
Yes, you can see it trying to burst through.
Exactly.
The intensity is maybe the word.
Right.
How about the simple trunks too? Black trunks, black boots, says Austin down the side in white letters. And then on the trunks, on the back, it just says U.S. champ. This is the version of the belt that Top Guy saw over the weekend. That is the ring-used WCW Reggie Parks United States Championship. There was also a Jamar version of that same belt, but it had 3 plates instead of 5. So there's your belt nerd trivia for today.
I wonder, do you know the story of the character of Stone Cold?
I do.
Okay, tell us the story of this.
Do you remember did you see the documentary on HBO in the late 90s about Richard Kuklinski? He loosely inspired the Tony Soprano character too, but he was a mafia hitman who was he had blue eyes, I believe. He was heavy set, right. But like he allegedly even got AIDS in a syringe and then shot a guy in a club so he could give him AIDS by syringe to kill him. Like he's just a crazy dude.
Okay.
Well, supposedly that demeanor of him just killing people and having no sort of feelings about it whatsoever, that was part of the inspiration for his character, just the stone cold stare, if you will. But at the time, he's married to Lady Blossom, who, as you might recall, is the real life Jeannie Clark, who's British. Mm-hmm. And she said something to him like, Steve, drink your tea before it gets stone cold. And ta-da, he said, hey, I know y'all wanted to call me Chili McFreeze here. In the world. Yeah. They sent over a list of names.
Chili McFreeze.
He started out as the ringmaster, Steve Austin, and he decided, hey, I want to go with this cold serial killer type presentation, just a badass who does not have any remorse and just marches forward and handles his business and blah, blah, blah. So they came up with all these ideas because the character, the murderer's nickname was the Iceman, you see.
Okay.
So like, we want to call it Iceman, but we can't because there was a killer and it was a character in Top Gun. And we got to come up with something else. So one of the ideas to spin off of the Iceman was Chili McFreeze, which is not like a slushy product at McDonald's.
That's what it sounds like.
It does. A Chili McFreeze sounds like a Route 66, strawberry limeade McDonald's version.
Right.
Hey, by the way, you see both of these guys like $1 million, and whenever I've seen Mark Merrill matches in the last few weeks for whatever reason as we're doing these podcasts, I think about the fact that he just recently lost his dog. Did you see that? Mark's dog.
Who just lost?
Mark's dog of 15 years passed away. Oh, and boy, God. He is all kind of tore up about it.
Listen.
15 years, man.
Oh, I get it. Jeez.
We're watching a pretty good match right here, too.
Yeah, of course. Johnny B. Bad was getting better. I would consider very good. And Austin was tremendous. I always thought the Stone Cold character was more like, instead of a quote unquote Stone Cold killer, was more like this Texas redneck didn't give a shit guy. That's because he drank the beer, it
evolved into that.
Right.
But I mean, he wasn't walking around chugging beers and stuff like that at first.
Okay. Got it. Well,
but he developed it, and something that has been being developed behind the scenes for years is Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs, and it gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, your workouts, your sleep, and even stress management. All you got to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you the tips to keep on top of your health game. And here's why metabolic health really matters. You see, your metabolism, think of it as like your body's engine. It's how your body turns all the food you eat into fuel that keeps you going. And because your metabolism is at the center of literally everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits like easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, etc. Lumen gives you recommendations to improve your metabolic health with every single breath. Lumen's recommendations are designed to improve both your pre and your post-workout fueling for better performance and recovery, so you can power through your toughest workouts and add on muscle mass. This is a real game changer for my wife. I can't tell you how excited she was to get this because she had seen the technology before. And I think a lot of us have at least seen the image of, like a treadmill in a doctor's office and there's a dude running and he's got the big mask on. Well, they have all of those apparatuses there to do what Lumen is doing now that you can have at your fingertips anytime you want, at your house, on the go. And it's an app on your phone. Like, this technology is a real game changer. Let me give you an example. We've got a friend of ours who's big into fasting. And when Megan turned them on to Lumen, they realized they've been doing it all wrong. A lot of the craze about a fast these days is an 18-hour fast, but that might not be one size fits all for you. A friend of ours found that about 10 and a half hours was the peak time to end their fast. If they waited until, say, hour 12, the fast actually started working against them. Their body was like, hey, we're not getting any food here. What are we doing? We need to do something different. They would have never known that without Lumen. Now, because they've done it, they've started cutting those fasts off at 10 and a half hours, and boy, their life is a whole heck of a lot better. So if you're wanting to take the next step in improving your health, we want you to go to lumen.me/WHW. You'll get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/WHW. You'll get 15% off your purchase. We want to thank Lumen for sponsoring this episode. Watching a pretty fun match here with stunning Steve Austin and Mark Miro for the United States Championship. This is around the same era, by the way, where Steve is trying to work his way up the cards. And he's hopeful that there's going to be an opportunity to do just that. There was even a discussion, allegedly, where he might have been, I think the phrase was, Hulk Hogan's cousin with the blonde hair and all that. And then it turns into a feud, and then it didn't happen. We never actually got that. What do you think about Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan and maybe what could have been in WCW back then, Tony?
It would have been great. The Hulk Hogan's cousin storyline, was that Austin's idea? I'd heard that.
That makes sense. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
And it wound up being Dave Sullivan. We didn't give it to Austin.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight maybe is the right call.
Right. Maybe so, but I can't watch one of these matches without thinking the entire time, boy, did we shit the bed on him.
No doubt, dude. And by the way, as best I can tell, they only got in the ring together one time. It was March 11th, 2002. It was a Monday Night Raw from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. It was a 3-on-2 handicap match with the NWO's Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall taking on Stone Cold and The Rock.
Whoa.
What a loaded match that is, dude.
Wow.
Can you imagine if that would have been the pay-per-view main event? Like, who's the third man for the WWF? It's Hogan, Hall, and Nash on one side. That would have been crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm. Wow. When was that? I gotta go look at that.
Maybe we'll go watch that one in the future. March 11th, 2002.
Okay.
Stupid ass Steve Silva just made a note of that. So
okay. All right.
We'll see that in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see is
what's that?
A new skit here on the show. Where we just have people nominate and then you recreate and reenact some lame movie scenes. I feel like we had to sit through that last week where we were looking at these stupid ass pictures of you in the distance and it shot over Lois's shoulder. This is a scene from her favorite movie where she found the love of her life. And I'm thinking,
it's not a movie, it's a TV show. You need to get it right. Okay.
I couldn't fucking care less. I'll never watch the shit. And James Earl Jones was Darth Vader.
He was
fucking
Terrence
loser
Mann.
baseball idiot. Nobody gives a fuck about that stupid baseball movie. Star Wars is what he's known for.
Oh, no. Did you ever see his face on Star Wars?
I didn't have to.
No,
it's his most famous role. You got his voice on your goddamn phone as a ringtone.
Okay, I got Darth Vader's voice.
He ain't over there going, I'm Moonlight McGraw. I used to play baseball in black and white.
Thanks to AI, we can still have James Earl Jones' voice on Darth Vader if we want to. But of course, Darth Vader will never show up on a Star Wars movie again because Disney has fucked over Star Wars. as we all know.
Well, who fucked over the Field of Dreams? And if it was such a great fucking movie,
great movies of all time.
Why didn't they make a second one, Tony? Because it sucked. That's why.
No, it didn't.
It was terrible.
Because once you make one good movie, you don't have to do it again.
I wish somebody would tell professional wrestling that.
That movie is... Me too. That movie is complete as it is.
Well, why'd they fuck around and make 40 WrestleManias?
Well, because the money kept coming in.
Well, it would have for old shoeless fuckhead Jones or whatever his name is, too.
It wasn't shoeless fuckhead Jones. It was just fuckhead Jones.
Hey, we gotta hope that we can get old Moonlight McGraw here to do the countdown next week. Moonlight Sampson.
That's Moonlight Graham.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the roll up. And Austin just threw the belt in the air. And now they're fighting. This is great. Look at the crowd.
Yep, crowd's with it.
Of course, it's going to be a DQ. Steve Austin winds up retaining, but they don't even announce that until TV on Saturday. So fans in the building thought Johnny B. Bad walked out with the championship, and that was not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know something else we should talk about? There was a little bit of controversy with this show because you guys did a control center before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it aired the prior weekend. And on that tape, someone in WCW played the wrong tape. And it was said, as you saw this past Thursday, Ric Flair beat Sting to unify the World Championship and the International Championship. And it aired out of order. So that spoiled what's happening here live. So at the start of the show, even though we had the sound down, you heard Bobby Heenan taking credit for that. I'm playing mind games with the Hulkster.
Yeah.
Or that sort of shit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, it's hard for me to imagine that happening in any other wrestling promotion other than WCW.
Yep. Yeah, part of that was my fault, I think.
Really?
Yeah. We had an editor who will go unnamed, very good editor, and he loved doing things automatically. In other words, hey, reprogramming the machine, they'll make all the edits by themselves. And he told me everything's good. Got the right one in. Yes, I got the right one in. I didn't even double check it. I should have double checked it. And I double checked it. Then
it's okay, Tony. We forgive you for Schiavoneing it. You were doing it your whole life, you know?
Well, Eric called me in. He said, listen, he said, that cannot happen. And he said, if it's going to come down to you being a baseball coach for your kids or being working for us backstage, it needs to be working for us backstage. And I remember when he said that, thinking, yeah, that motherfucker's just jealous that I put time in for my family. Anyway, that was my thought at that time. Dun, 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 dun.
What do you think he's saying right here?
They say, well, what I want to tell you guys, you little hucksters, is that Lauren Y, who's on here, also doesn't like Field of Dreams. But as we know, she doesn't like anything that Tony Schiavone likes. And she's even gone so far as calling him a needle dick. What does she know? What? Wait a minute. I got a dog here. Hey, buddy. Hey, sweetheart.
There's not a dog on the set. I'm watching the video right now. That's just Jimmy Hart. That's not a dog. That's Jimmy.
No, come back and show me. I've got Scout here. There you go. Hey, Scout. That's right. Absolutely. Did the Hulk Hogan voice, and she was like, "What's that voice, Daddy?"
Oh, Jesus Christ. Eric, Tony.
Yeah. What?
If it comes down to you going goo goo gaga for your dogs, or you cutting promos on the podcast here in your Hulk Hogan voice, we need you cutting promos in the Hulk Hogan voice. Well, you know something, dude? You're not going to believe this, man. But in a few years, there's going to be a badass wrestler running around these parts named Chris Benoit. And I'm not even going to tell you what he's going to do later, man. But one day, dude, I'm going to go on Logan Paul's podcast. Now, he hasn't been born yet, but he's going to come up with an energy drink that has so much bad shit in it, the government's going to try to get involved and shut it the fuck down. He's also going to come up with a cryptocurrency that he calls a zoo, and it's really just a game to rip people off. He's a rug-pulling son of a gun, brother, and that's why I'm going on his podcast, dude. And I'm going to say, hey, if they can forgive Chris Benoit for what he did, man, then they can certainly forgive me for having a slip of the tongue when I got done banging my best friend's wife and didn't know I was being recorded, Mean Gene. Wait, speaking of banging wives, and there Ric Flair appears. Yeah. What's going on, brother?
No one bangs wives like I do. You got it. And now I'm senile. Ask any bartender in Tampa how senile I am. And I've got an energy drink with mushrooms in it. It's so bad, AEW didn't even like it. And that's it. I'm out of here. And I got a bigger dick than you do. Woo!
I don't know about that, man. I'm on tape calling mine a thermos, brother. The Hulk Hogan thermos. It fits in a lunchbox or your wife's box. Dude, I've been hanging and banging down at a radio show's house. What are we doing?
No.
I'll see you at the Pearl, Ric Flair. I know you're down there getting fucked up with all these one-time losers down on their luck, living on their alimony, looking for another one to hang from, brother. And I know you're looking for number 6, and you're looking high and low for that big, mean, nasty, stinky giant. Wait, never mind. The Pearl, brother. I'm coming to see you in Tampa, dude. And I'm going to be there hanging and banging. By the way, did you know Kevin Sullivan's get-together was at my old beat shop? That's right.
And we hope wife number 6 doesn't beat you up.
Again.
I think we covered just about everything we could on that one.
I think we did too. I'll be honest. Right now, we had to stretch so far on that. I'm reaching for some amazing kind. They got the topicals that I need, but I think after that, I'm going to need to say my prayers, brother. I'm going to need some of their infused oils. I'm looking for a good night's sleep. I'm looking for some CBN, not the Hulk Hogan kind of CBN, a different kind. This has sedative properties. It's going to help you get a state of relaxation and calmness. It can be conducive to falling asleep. By the way, you're going to fall asleep faster and you're going to have fewer nighttime awakenings. We're talking more restful sleep. You're going to love it. I know I do. My wife does. I know Lois is rocking it. If you haven't already, I'll encourage you, go check out theamazingkind.com. What you'll find is the founder, man, he's one of us, just a big wrestling fan. He actually used to work as a producer and editor for the WWE, working on their commercials and marketing. And then he decided, hey, let's get my family together and start a business that specializes in plant-based pain relief balms, creams, and gels for muscles and joints. There's a fat man in Alabama who's going to love these infused oils for mood support and sleep. And right now, he's hooking you all up at theamazingkind.com. Just use our promo code WRESTLE and you'll get 20% off your entire order. By the way, that's not a one-time use code. So if you've used it before, go use it again. It's good for what ails you. Theamazingkind.com, 20% off when you use our promo code WRESTLE. Can you believe we're finally here, man? Look at Shaq, a very young Shaq. And this is just before they're going to be running the big pay-per-view in July.
Right.
Bash at the Beach. And that's in Orlando, where he is the toast of the town, the number 1 draft pick for the Orlando Magic in 92, 93. Now he's a superstar doing crunch commercials and working on movies and all kinds of silly shit.
No one does as many promotions or endorsements as Shaq. No one. No one's even close.
He's crushed it, dude.
Yeah, he has. I talked to Shaq. Of course, he did something for AEW, and I think I may have said this before, but I talked to Shaq about that night and told him I was there that night. And he said, oh, yeah, I remember you were doing the show. And he said, when I walked in the back, I hadn't been, he didn't use the word smartened up. He said, I didn't know how things really were. And I saw, Hulk Hogan talking to Flair, and I saw all these, and I was going, oh, I can't believe this. So here he was, an NBA star, really, buying into all this stuff before he came to Bash the Beach.
Wow.
And it was right there. It smartened him up. And I thought that was kind of unique. But he was still a kid, right? I mean, even though he was in the NBA, he was still very much a kid, as you saw right there on the video. He's still a very young man back then. But man, the money he has, ooh, brother.
Dude, he owns like hundreds of businesses, gyms, right, movie theaters, Starbucks, car washes, Papa John's franchises, just on and on. And there he is.
Yeah.
Eric and I just recently over at 83weeks.com did like our own version of a WCW Hall of Fame. And we let fans vote on the poll and decide who should be the first inductee as a single star, it was Sting. Sting got the vote. Ric Flair won the Generational Influencer Award. Hard to argue, but Sting is the franchise of WCW, don't you think?
No doubt. No doubt. He became a star in WCW and became WCW's biggest star. And not only that, the NWO Hulk Hogan storyline wouldn't have been as big as it would have been without Sting as the Crow.
No doubt.
Michael Buffer. Yikes.
Yeah, and that's Nick Bockwinkel in the corner. He is the figurehead boss here of the commissioner of sorts, if you will. But we're actually going to see Sherry come out. And she's painted up like Sting. How about that?
Wow. Never know what Sherry's going to do. By the way, one more word about Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever heard this story. Someone told me this story, and I think it was on very good authority, that he owned a condo in every NBA town. So when he would go to that town, he never had to go to the hotel. He would go to his own condo that he owned.
Well, I know for a fact he used to own a condo in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay. How about that?
And I could not believe it. He also used to buy, believe it or not, he would buy like his Range Rovers and BMWs from our dealer in Huntsville.
Really?
And I was like, what? Why? Like those dealerships are all over the country. It feels like people would be falling all over themselves to have Shaq there. But like I knew Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell had a place here, but they had a kid who did hockey at UAH, so they were in town all the time. But why would maybe he was an investor in that property or something? Who knows?
He could have been, but also Conrad, I believe this. I believe you get a car salesman that you trust and like.
Oh, and you stick with it.
You stick with that person. Yeah.
I got you.
I believe that. Yeah.
This is going to be a big match, the unification of the WCW title. It's kind of sad to see. This is going to be the last time we see the WCW title. They're going to go full big gold belt after this. You know, that title was created in 1991 when Flair left, took the big gold belt with him to the WWF. And now here, 3 years later, almost to the day when you think about it, because this is June of 94, that belt is being retired. But for 3 years, it was the top prize in WCW. But I'll be honest, when I think of a WCW world title, I almost exclusively think of the big gold belt.
Wow.
So here comes Sherry covering her face up. She's going to do the big reveal that she's painted up like Sting. Flair, of course, is getting a lot of cheers. That is one bad thing we've got going against us here on the program. We're in South Carolina. So he didn't come out smiling. He came out scowling. And he's going to try to work his ass off to get these fans to boo him. I just found that interesting that, you know, we're positioning him like he's the heel so people will cheer for Hulk Hogan. And by the way, her makeup is identical to Sting's. I knew it was the same color scheme, but I didn't realize it was identical. You got to assume Sting painted her up that day. Oh, come on, Rick. Calm down.
Okay.
It's not what I meant.
I know it's not what you meant. What do you think about that WCW logo in the middle of the ring?
It wears your ass out that it's on there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
By the way, we're hanging out here, and I can't help but in between, but check my social media, and I saw something that jumped out, and I thought to myself, this can't be real. I want to be clear. I'm not saying it's real. And I've actually sent it to Dave Silva, and I've had him sort of redact some things because I don't think this is real. I don't want this to be real, but it did make me laugh out loud.
Brother.
I want you to read this post from social media. I think it was Reddit, actually.
I don't want to read it, but go ahead.
Talent siphoning gas from fans' cars during the shows. Anyone else hear about this? There's been a lot of chatter about this, and apparently it's quite the problem at the shows. Fans seeing guys and that sleazy looking merch guy siphoning gas from parked vehicles. Have you, in all your years of wrestling fandom, have you ever worried about where you parked because someone might siphon the goddamn gas?
Never.
Me neither.
Jesus.
Siphoning gas at a wrestling show. Let me just go ahead and tell you how I know your life didn't go according to plan.
Or maybe it did go according to plan. Maybe that was your plan.
Crack is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
Crystal meth is tough, boy. Heroin is undefeated.
Once again, just the fucking internet, just full of bullshit. It is. It's full of bullshit. Like that guy we had last week about eating shit out of a real solo cup. How much bullshit is that?
I love it.
It's so much bullshit on the internet.
By the way, how excited were you to see Notre Dame get just manhandled by Northern Illinois University?
And you know who the biggest Notre Dame fan I know is?
Pat Kenny.
Eddie Kingston.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't even text him, but everybody else did that day.
I'm sure.
I didn't really know about it until the show was going on. So, but I didn't. I wanted to text him.
Did you see your Auburn team lost to Cal in Auburn?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I sure did.
It's a crazy year already for college football, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I'm at the point in my life to where I'm just out to see teams lose more than I am to see teams I like win.
You know, I could get behind that because I had some fun on some of our DraftKings spots last week, and on Jeff's show, of course, I said the Bengals would lose, and I got some hate tweets. But when I did some copy for DraftKings last week, and I said that, hey man, Cowboys plus 2.5 against the Browns. This is free money. One guy sent me a GIF of, hey man, fuck you. And not only did the Browns not win by 2.5, they didn't win at all. The Cowboys thumped that head for them.
Like 31-17 or something.
It was crazy how off it was. Yeah. And I just love when I'm like, because the copy says, hey, share a pick that you think is good. And I'm like, okay. Right. Yeah. Wow, fucking Dallas plus 2.5 is a no-brainer. Hey man, fuck you. Meanwhile, they'd covered by 30.
Yeah. What if he had to eat shit out of a solo paper cup or solo cup?
I was, of course, in Chicago for Top Guy weekend, and I got a text from Dad that says, son, you got to help us. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, what's going on? And he's like, these sons of bitches are playing a close game. And I'm like, oh, he's talking about the Bama game. So then I look, and sure enough, we were only up on South Florida by a point. When it was all said and done, it was a lot more. But just for a minute, when Dad's like drunk texting me, tipsy texting me, dear son, we need your help. I can tell you're not watching because we're only up 1 point. Turn the game on. Hope you're having fun. Love you, Dad.
So are you the catalyst for them winning?
My dad always says, we struggle when you don't watch the games with me. So as we're making a trek over to Atlanta this weekend, he's like, you can't go. We're playing Wisconsin. We're going to lose. I'm like, I got to go to Atlanta. You could just go with me. I don't want to, but I don't want to see us lose to Wisconsin. I'll run.
No, you're not going to lose to Wisconsin.
That's what I said. By the way, since you blew me off and said you wouldn't hang out with me, I've had to reach deep into my Rolodex to see who else I know in Atlanta who'd go watch the game with me.
Mm-hmm. And who would that be?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because you're not showing up.
Okay.
I mean, they even offered to come to your house and watch it in the yard with you.
Mm-hmm. Dave McClay said, go Pats. They won their first game. Coach Keith Morrison said, my Raiders suck. We knew that even before the season started, Coach. And I kind of wish they didn't because I always kind of like the Raiders. I think if you're an old school NFL fan, you got to have some love in your heart somewhere for the Raiders. What a franchise. Jeez.
Hey, dude, have you ever seen Derek Zoo's show?
No, I have not.
I think you should go see that. He was part of Dolly Parton Stampede for like 6.5 years, but he's now fully committed to the Hatfield and McCoy show in Pigeon Forge. Like dinner theater. That feels like your deal, dude.
Is that the Derek Zoo that's with us right now?
Yeah.
Well, hey, Derek. I haven't seen it.
You should go. I think you and Lois would love it. You could dance around, sing songs. You'd probably eat a turkey leg or some shit like that.
That's what I'm going to do. Hey, honey, what? Let's go dance around, sing songs, eat a turkey leg.
Well, I mean, I just know that is your deal.
What? Eating a turkey leg or dancing around, singing songs?
I mean, like a performance like that, like a theatrical performance, like you like Broadway plays and shit like that.
Love Broadway plays.
But you don't have to go all the way to New York. You can go to By God, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, I have it on good authority. I can even get you comp tickets, Tony.
Really?
Because I know you want to be entertained, but you're looking for a deal.
Hey, we got a pretty good match going on here, and we're just fucking around here.
What is there to talk about with Sting and Ric Flair? You know it's a good match. There's not much to make fun of unless we're going to talk about doo-doo spots.
Okay.
Or, oh, by the way, your boy, David Crockett.
Yeah.
I got a call from the Nature Boy over the weekend. And I said, hey, Mr. Crockett, look who's calling. So, of course, he wants to talk to him. Mm-hmm. And Rick is trying to introduce David to his new girlfriend.
My God.
And when Megan has asked Richard about his new girlfriend, he goes, but when Megan asks, how old is she? Rick does his little laugh. You know how he does. Yeah, older than Morgan, but younger than you. So younger than his daughter, but older than his granddaughter. That was the answer. So then, of course, David Crockett's like, 3 sheets to the wind. Is she there? Is she there? He goes, hell yeah, she's here. Talk to her. And Mr. Crockett goes, I don't want to talk to her. FaceTime me, Rick. So he FaceTimes her. I mean, they're FaceTiming now. Rick's phone and my phone, but Crockett's holding it. Mm-hmm. And then Crockett sits the phone down on the desk in front of him. It's right here. Mm-hmm. Sits the phone down right in front. And I couldn't believe what I saw next.
Oh, my God.
Crockett has a sweater on and a button up underneath.
Yeah.
Starts lifting. And I'm like, hey, man. I know you think you're talking to Ric Flair and that's all funny, but hey, man.
Yeah, stop.
Hey, man. I'm about to get in real trouble here, and I didn't do nothing, but it's on my phone now. Hey, man, right. If y'all want to do that on your phone, let's just switch phones. But the warden somewhere is going to be like, why were there random titties on your phone? And, of course, Crockett goes, oh, I was just kidding. And I was like, yeah, but.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Jeez.
How about Sherry Martel cheering on Sting here?
Mm-hmm. How about Jackie Crockett running the camera, man?
The best.
Yeah, he was. We've got some good ones in AEW, but Jackie was top of the line. He was way ahead of his time.
By the way, Efren, friend of the show, made a $1,000 donation to the Owen Hart Foundation, in part to honor Jackie Crockett over the weekend. How cool was that?
Oh, that's tremendous. Good job, Efren. Hadn't seen Efren in a long, long time, and looks like he was doing a lot of your hosting, a lot of the shows, right?
Dude, he's the man. He's always the best part of Top Guy Weekend. He puts together these really incredible games. We played Match Game, and then he had this fun ticket thing. Our next big get-together is going to be in January, and we're going to do like a fantasy camp for wrestling again, maybe book a fantasy show. But also, too, watch the Rumble together. I mean, we had such fun doing it in Tampa this year where, you know, everybody draws a number and you don't know who that's going to be. And somebody wins a prize and the whole thing. And there's a women's Rumble and a men's Rumble, but it keeps you engaged during the entire match. It was a blast.
Right.
So shout out to Efren for coming up with all these fun games. We did a few years ago, Family Feud at Top Guy Weekend. Super fun. That may have been one of my favorite games we've done so far is Family Feud.
Gosh, when I'm thinking about Family Feud, do you know that when I was on Family Feud, Kevin Sullivan and Sid Vicious were on the team with me?
Isn't that great?
Isn't that something? Dutch Mantell was on that team. And Kevin Nash. How about that for a team?
Hey, tell me about, or I don't know if you saw it, maybe you heard about it, or maybe you ran into him. Did you see we had Jason Hervey over the weekend with us in Chicago?
You mentioned that he was there, but I did not see him.
How cool is that, dude?
Yeah, that is cool. We're seeing Eric been business partners and friends for quite a while.
They haven't seen each other in like 7 years, though.
Really?
So it was like a cool little reunion.
That was great.
By the way, as I'm watching Ric Flair wrestle here, I just saw one of his boots, and I said to myself, Self, I think I used to have those boots. And I was like, no, that's not right, because the RF wasn't white. But I just realized on one boot, the RF is white. On the other boot, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So he's wearing these boots like that are either mismatched or he was just having the letters done over on top. But I find it interesting that, see, that side's RF.
That's
dark,
right. It's
and the
black
other side's
almost.
white. That's weird. You never saw that with Rick.
No.
I never noticed that until just now.
So you've seen the RF, or do you have the RF black boots? Black lettering?
I did. I had to trade them in order to get the butterfly robe, which is down to my left. I traded the jungle robe, some tights, and those boots. And the robe he wore to the ring, I got from WWE, but later we worked a deal out. So Rick and Fitterman have that for Rick's appearances.
Okay.
I figured if anybody's going to have a Ric Flair robe, it should be, well, Ric Flair.
Yeah. What deal did you work out?
Well, Fitterman bought the robe from me.
Okay.
He sent me a wire for American currency.
Okay. I thought maybe that the deal was, Rick stopped acting like an idiot for 3 minutes out of the day, which would be impossible.
No, I give Rick the same thing he gives me, a hard time.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
You should. Any hard time that Ric Flair gets from anybody, be it an in-law, a friend, an acquaintance, a member of the family, he deserves it. He does.
Well,
Lois still on the phone, as you can hear.
yeah. She's going to keep going. I mean, we've been going an hour and a half. She's still talking to those grandkids.
She's still talking, yes.
Yep. I'm going to have to do a little bit of that after this as well, because we're recording at night and I've been in Chicago for 3 nights.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to be in the other room pretending I'm married, Yeah. Because you and I, as we're recording this tomorrow, we're both flying to Tampa.
Great. By the way, let's see, where were we? We did a collision recently. It was on a Saturday. The last collision I did, I'll remember it, was before Chicago. Anyway, Lois got on the telephone with one of her friends.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a lie, Conrad. They talked for 6 hours on the phone. 6 fucking hours. I told her, I said, Lois, that 6 fucking hours?
Well, listen, I can't
podcast for 6 hours.
I hear you.
I can't do a wrestling show for 6 hours. Jesus.
Well,
6 fucking hours.
Let me just ask a question.
There's something wrong with that woman.
Was she drinking?
Well, what day was it? Did it end in Y?
My point is, Cassio and I, we have conversated for 6 hours, but there was alcohol involved.
Okay.
And the conversations make less and less sense as time goes on.
Yeah.
And then you just start laughing at random stuff.
Right.
By the way, shout out to one of my best drinking buddies. I think everybody who listens to this knows my favorite little spot in Huntsville, the hidey hole, is the Boot.
Mm-hmm.
Our Wednesday drinking buddy for like the last 10 years has gone to that great bar in the sky.
Really?
Shout out to my buddy Mickey. We had a lot of fun with Mickey.
Is Mickey in the ground dead?
Well, I don't think they've put his body in the grounds yet.
Okay, right.
But it's not something where, we can give him a cop killer on a cinder block and him come to or nothing.
Right. Or put a bag over his head.
Or a syringe in his. We could probably do all those things with him right now.
Probably could. Yeah. Probably could. Well, God bless Mickey.
I'm just saying, if Andrade, Jeff Jarrett, and Jay Lethal can weekend at Bernie's Ric Flair to his last match, maybe we could book one for Mickey. By the way, if Mickey was here, he would love that joke. Mickey was like 70, man. And Mickey was hanging with me and Cassio, telling us old stories about whistling through the wheat field. And it's just great.
Oh,
you just love hearing from a guy like Mickey about the way, oh, what a bump. I always remember that. And I always forget that it's in this match.
Yeah.
Sting over the top, crashes down on Sherry Martel. That was a big time bump on national television.
Yes.
What do you think she's talking about back there?
All right. She, the way she's talking, she apparently is still talking to her granddaughter.
Ask Lois if she's heard they're siphoning gas at wrestling shows now.
No.
Hey, Jim in Buffalo says, Tony, with the NFL season now underway, who wins the Super Bowl?
Oh, God.
Please say the Jags. And did you watch any of the games this weekend?
I watched most of the Jags lose to the Miami Dolphins. That's about the only thing I watched. I don't know who's going to win the NFL season. The only thing I do know about the NFL is that the New York Giants got their uniforms yesterday at a Salvation Army. Did you see their uniforms yesterday?
Look at there. There it is. We just talked over the finish. Ric Flair's our champion. He's unified the big gold belt and the WCW world title. By the way, I did not see the Giants uniforms, but I did want to ask you about Pee Wee. I heard something the other day that I didn't hear it. I read it in Dave Pinzer's book.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to hear Lois's conversation. I love you, sweetie. I had fun watching you play.
Yeah.
Pee Wee got bad off on drugs, bro.
That I don't know. But I do know that he and Arn, who were very close friends at one time, ended up not being friendly at all. That's what I do know.
I think that's a theme.
Really?
Well, I'm looking at another one right now.
Yeah, I guess you are.
Look at this. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Pretending like she was with the Stinger, wearing the face paint out there. Boy, Flair was slow to throw that punch.
Yeah, boy, and she gets her kicks in.
That looked like a real deal knee block there.
And then the splash.
Just in case you weren't sure, I'm a heel. I love it. Coach Rosie's with us here today, and he says yesterday had the opportunity to go to a game at Wrigley Field as the Cubs played the Yankees. Have you been to Wrigley Field, and what do you think about that little joint?
I have been to Wrigley Field. I was there when the Braves were in the playoffs. I believe it had to be 2003, maybe, the same year that this famous Steve Bartman, because the Braves had played the Cubs earlier, and then the Cubs won that. And I just think the Cubs and the whole Wrigley experience, they can keep it.
Here he comes, our hero, here to save the day.
Yeah.
Can't be beating down Brother Sting. No, not while I'm here in my yellow and red. Let me rip my shirt off first.
All right, let's see how the fans are responding to this.
They're on their feet. It's a big star. Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair getting physical live on TBS.
Yeah.
Stops just short of the boot. I like that. Got to save something for the pay-per-view, boys.
Sure.
Well, not you, though. I'll take you over my knee, throw you over my shoulder, take you to my best friend's house. You know the rest.
Sting till trying to get up, so to speak.
I was thinking about that the other day. You know, we know what happened in Hulk Hogan's best friend's bedroom. We've seen the tape. Can you imagine what was happening? There were video cameras when Ric Flair was running around back in the day.
Whoa.
Can you imagine?
It would be another documentary.
Well, he'd be a 2-time champion. I don't think we'd have gotten to 16. But thankfully, we made it to the end of this episode, Tony. This was a fun stroll down memory lane. That main event right there got 3.5 stars, according to Dave Meltzer. It's a big deal when you've got this level of star power on the show. But unfortunately, somehow this is the 4th lowest rated Clash of the Champions of all time, which I really have a hard time making sense out of. I mean, Sting and Ric Flair. and Hulk Hogan's here, the live debut. That's pretty crazy to think, but that's what it got. The press conference they did the prior week on Saturday night got a 1.8 rating. So going into this big pay-per-view extravaganza, it didn't feel like a sure thing that this thing was going to be successful. And of course, we know it wound up being hugely successful.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting time in wrestling here. You know, Cactus Jack's unhappy. You can see Stunning Steve. They're not getting the most out of him. Ric Flair is going to be playing second banana to Hulk Hogan. Even the banners you pointed out, red and yellow that night. But right now, Tony, it's about that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, and coming from your favorite needle dick in the world, Tony Schiavone, we'd like to tell everyone that thank you for being with us. Hulkamania rules. At least it did at that time. And we're desperately out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. We come to you each and every Wednesday on Cumulus Westwood 1. But Mondays, we come to you ad-free and exclusively on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com.
On Hood.
Have I told you what I'm helping people with in my real life? Yeah, I'm helping them save money over at savewithconrad.com. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Go get yourself a quick quote. Interest rates have improved and people are realizing, hey, now's a chance to save some cash. And I'm talking to you, if you're still on the fence about buying a house, we can get you out of that apartment, tell your landlord to kiss your grits, and get you into a brand new house. You can do that with 5% down, with 3.5% down. And yes, there are still no money down options available in 2024. SaveWithConrad.com is your first step. We're going to ask you, hey, where are you now and where would you like to be? And we're going to get you on a path to fit those short-term goals, but really meet the long-term goal that we all want. And that's to appreciate the American dream. The American dream isn't to give 29% of your gross monthly income every month until you die to some banker. No, you want to own that thing for real. Your own piece of land for you and your family, your legacy. And we want to help you get one for yourself at savewithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. And maybe you've already got a house, but it'd be nice if you could pay a little less. We're routinely finding a way to help our podcast listeners combine all of their debt, and I mean all of it. Credit cards, personal loans, even car payments. Get it into one low monthly payment. Not only is it a better interest rate, it's also a greater tax deduction, but maybe most importantly, a much cheaper payment. We're routinely helping our podcast listeners save $500, $600, $700, even $800 a month. But how much can you save? Find out right now at savewithconrad.com.
You guys, the housing market's really good right now, too, for you folks out there that are thinking of making a change in your overhead or your living conditions. Now's not a bad time to make that move. Nowhere better to do it than savewithconrad.com. He's going to save you money. He's going to be honest. And it's like dealing with a friend, an educated friend. And boy, there's a lot of uneducated and unfriendly people in that world. Conrad Thompson is not one of them.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Jim. Check out our reviews online. You're going to see we've got more than 1,000 5-star reviews. Customer service is what it's all about. We want to be your mortgage advisor for life. So there's no application fee. There's no credit report fee. We just want to talk, man. Hey, tell us where you are and tell us where you want to be, and we'll try to help you get a plan to get there. We want to be your advocate, your humble advocate at savewithconrad.com.
Attaboy, Connie. Look at those cheeks, ladies. Look at those cheeks, ladies and gentlemen. My God.
How could you say no to that, right?
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
SaveWithConrad.com.